Welcome to Sean Matthews Podcast. Joe, how you doing today?
I am not doing too bad for a Monday, my friend. 76, we'll get into it, but 76ers are sort of struggling with they're up by 7 against the Pacers. I mean, come on now. So, I mean, but yeah, it's basketball. You can't be on every night. But anyway, I'm doing good for a Monday, Sean. Can't believe another weekend has passed. Can't believe it's March. But how's it going for you, bro?
Good, man. I'm gonna get into those lyrics and then we'll get going. So ready for the lyrics?
Sure enough.
Here we go. I packed my bags and I'm heading straight into the storm. Gonna be a twister to blow everything down. That ain't got the faith to stand its ground. Blow away the dreams that tear you apart. Blow away the dreams that break your heart. Blow away the lies that leave you nothing but lost and brokenhearted. That's a great song by Bruce Springsteen called The Promised Land from his album from 1978 called The Darkness on the Edge of Town. Joe, what do you think about those lyrics, brother?
Those lyrics, look, I've always loved Bruce. There's no two ways about it. I never really scrutinized it. That's one thing about what we do here that makes us scrutinize these lyrics a little tighter. And it's neat because it makes you look at things you just kind of hummed along with. Like, I don't know that you never really thought about it. I packed my bags and I'm heading straight into the storm. I'm stealing myself. There's no bags being packed, but I'm getting myself ready. I'm stealing myself because I can do this. Whatever this is, a new confrontation with someone, a new job, an interview, whatever it is, getting back with a girlfriend that you broke up with, or whatever the deal is. I'm stealing myself, okay? I pack my bags and I'm heading straight for the storm. Going to be a twister to blow everything down. This is going to be a tough deal. Okay, it's going to be a tough deal. It's something to do with the weather, but it's just going to be a tough deal, and I know it. But I finished that. Going to be a twister to blow everything down that ain't got the faith to stand its ground. They go together, those two lyrics. Going to be a twister to blow everything down that ain't got the faith to stand its ground. That last part. You better have faith. It's going to test your faith. This is going to test your faith. This is going to be some heavy stuff. Okay, the loss of a loved one, a divorce, like I said, a big moment in your life, an interview, or whatever the case may be. It's going to be big, and I love the way he follows that up with. I'm going to be redundant here, but I want to read it again. Going to be a twister to blow everything down that ain't got the faith to stand its ground. So if you have the faith to stand your ground, you're going to be all right, kid. You're going to be all right. All right. Blow away the dreams that tear you apart. Blow away the dreams that break your heart. Blow away the lies that leave you nothing but lost. It's going to blow away. They're going to blow away if you do what he talked about in the aforementioned verses. If you steel yourself, if you have faith, if you remember your faith, if you get your feet, if you prepare, if you have a plan, right, and do all those things, you're going to be all right, kid. You're going to be all right, but you got to do those. And I don't know if it's where it is in the song, but I remember, Mr. I ain't a boy. No, I'm a man.
Yeah, I love that part.
And I believe in a promised land.
That's probably one of my favorite parts of the song. I was going to choose those lyrics.
Yeah, these are your lyrics, by the way. I just really, I can relate. I love Bruce.
But the part is I think it's one of the best parts in any song I've ever heard in my life, especially in the way Bruce sings it. When he gets to that blow away part, he puts so much intensity and passion into it.
Yes.
It's like, blow away the dreams that tear you apart. Blow away the dream. That's my Bruce voice, I guess. I don't know. But the man can sing, and the man's got rhythm, the man's got soul, the man's a legendary rock star, and this song is amazing. It really is about facing the storm head on. You have these dreams, you would think that you're just reading it. It's like, blow away the dreams that tear you apart. Are you asking something to blow away those dreams because they don't tear you apart anymore? Are you asking them to blow away the dreams that break your heart? No, you're cleansing yourself. You're going straight into the storm. The storm ain't got nothing on you. Your faith is going to overcome that storm, and it's going to blow away the lies that leave you nothing but lost and brokenhearted. All this stuff. It's a cleansing. The storm. You're walking straight into the storms. You packed your bags. The twister's going to blow everything down but your dreams. It's just it's a deep, really deep lyrics, but the way he sings it is what makes these lyrics. Because if he just sang it regularly, he puts so much emphasis into saying blow away, and it gets me so fired up when I hear that part.
Yeah, he does do it with a lot of emotion. That's for sure, no question.
Yeah,
good tune.
He sings a lot of songs like it's his last song he's ever going to sing. That's what I love about the guy. I mean, he's performing. I think he's the age of 74, and he's on a worldwide tour right now. He's in his first leg in just arenas in America. Then he's going to Europe. Then he's coming back and doing stadiums in America. I mean, it's insane. I'm seeing him in Philadelphia in August, where the Phillies play at Citizens Bank Ballpark. I got seats right in the pit, right near the stage. It's going to be crazy. I mean, those seats are going for $2,000 at Madison Square Garden. He's playing there in April, or maybe later this month or early April. But those pit seats right in front of the stage are going for $2,000, and he's playing in stadiums after the arena portion, so the prices are like way down from what that is. But they're pretty coveted seats, and I'm pretty pumped up because that's 2 times I saw him. I was pretty drunk. I was younger. I was in college. I didn't appreciate it as much. I'm going to be totally locked in for this and just enjoying the hell out of the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's like I said, and I mean, you know me, I love music. I absolutely love music, but I'm not one to go to a whole lot of concerts. I don't believe you have to go to a whole lot. You don't have to do it. You can love music and know a whole lot about it and enjoy it your entire life and never have gone to even one concert if you don't want to. Just because you love something doesn't mean you have to go, especially music, right? Because it's recorded. Doesn't mean you have to go there and see that. Oh, that's the person that did that song. Let me stand here and watch them. If it's nice, well, that's true. I dig it. I dig you have the opposite viewpoint because you're nothing but concerts, and I'm cool. There is a whole different vibe. It is a whole different frequency going on there, and it is cool to go to anything live. But it's just one of those things that I just wanted. Well, go ahead. You got me.
You said when you go to church, you feel special and holy and all that stuff, dude. When you go to a concert, I
don't feel holy, but I feel cleansed. But go ahead.
It's a whole different level of just communal experience. When you're at a concert, there's nothing like it. I mean, you might have had a bad experience when you saw Clapton, I guess, or just wasn't that fun for you. But I feel like anybody who lives there, there's not people. Some people just aren't into live music. That's fine. That's the way they are. But there's nothing like live music. When you're there with everybody and they're playing those songs live, you can't emulate what it sounds like at a live concert on any format. I know the speakers are good these days. The AirPods are good these days. It's nothing close. I mean, I watch a ton of live performances on YouTube, on my TV. It's cool, but there's something really lacking. Just going to live concerts is like the best thing ever. I want to do it the rest of my life till I'm like 100 years. If I live to 100 years old, I want to be at concerts the rest of my life. I'm carving it each year. I'm going to be at least 3 concerts a year. It's just something that's a part of me, man. So I feel bad for you in the sense that like you just don't have the same connection to it. Like you don't feel the same way.
Right.
It's like, man, you're missing out, man. But that's just, you have you're a whole different vibe, a whole different person. So I completely respect you, but concerts are next level, man. They're next level.
Yes, it's just and it's cool, but my point is you don't have to go to any concerts to fully love and enjoy music. You
can still enjoy music, of course.
Yes, big time.
Going to a concert takes it to a different level, and it's a memory that you created. Instead of just saying, "Oh, what'd you do?" I sat at home, I listened to music, I'm like, "Oh, that sounds good. Hope you had a good time." But if you say, "I went to a concert, I had a hell of a time," people are like, "Whoa, this guy goes out, he goes to concerts, he's really enjoying his life." So it just gives off a whole different impression as a person. But everybody's different. Some people just like to stay in. Some people like to do their routine, and that's fine. They don't like to break the mold. They don't like to be around a lot of people. They don't vibe with it. That's fine. But I'm just, I'm a huge concert guy, man. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and you know what, too, Shawnee? It's the same with sports too. You know how I love the Eagles, and I love football, and I don't think I can't remember the last time I went to a live like an Eagles game. I think it was at Vet Stadium. That tells you how long ago it was. It was against the New Orleans Saints, and it was way back. Jim McMahon was the quarterback. I think Kotite was the coach. But I'm dead on the Eagles every Sunday on the TV. I enjoy, I enjoy the whole thing from a different perspective. And it's just the same way that a lot of people will tell you that, yeah, there's live music and then there's your CDs, and well, it used to be CDs. Now it's, whatever, your MP3s or whatever they are now. But the studio version always sounds better than the live version. Always. 95% of the time, the studio version sounds better than the live version of any given song. right? That's just the way it goes. I'm not saying that
I
concerts are
don't think
bad.
that. I disagree completely. I think the
Oh, I
versions you
think
hear live are not like
people
no
have
other.
said that. Most people have said that. Even concert goers have said that, because
I
the
mean,
studio version, you gets cleaned up and cut and produced just perfectly, and a live, and it's done in chunks, right? But then when it's live, it's all at the same time, right? It's all together, and it's um it's more difficult for them to do it that way. It's easier for them to do the studio version. Everyone comes in and does their own cut, but when it gets put together and produced, it's just tremendous. But it's just one of those things. It differs. It's but how do we start this, Bruce? If you're going to see
yeah,
Bruce, it's never a bad move. Yeah.
no,
Oh, but my
um,
point was, you're seeing Bruce. I strayed from my point. Um, my thing about this is I'm a Rolling Stones fan too, big time, but I passed up a couple opportunities in the last like decade to go see them, because I wanted, if I were going to go see them, I want to see them in their prime. Same kind of thing with Bruce. If you'd have told me in 1978 when this album came out, or, I'd have said, holy smokes, that's a different ball game, So, but he still delivers a good show. But he can't give you what he used to give you. The man's older. I've seen him
I've
on
been
talk shows.
watching some live stream. People are putting live streams up on Facebook. I've been checking out some footage, and the man still got it. You know what I mean? I do miss Clarence, the saxophone
Oh,
player,
oh yeah, the
but
big man. Yeah.
I saw him a couple of times. It's fine. So did you watch Saturday Night Live on Saturday night, sir?
Just one thing while we're talking about music, I just wanted to say this real quickly. The last living member of Leonard Skinner died today, Gary Rossington. He was a co-founder and one of the best guitar players in Southern rock history, I think. And R.I.P. Freebird. That's all I can tell you. All right. Next question.
Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
I was very impressed. I think Travis Kelce did a great job. I think I really truly believe this, and I'm not being facetious, Joe. I think after his playing career, this man could
Good.
go to Hollywood and be an actor. I really believe it.
Uh,
He was that good.
yeah, I told you I was surprised. Because I don't really like the cat too much, but it dawned on me why I don't like him, because he's wearing a red uniform and not a green one. It's just one of the. It's just one. If he were on our squad, I think he was the best thing coming and going. Um, but yeah, I was really really surprised that I was like, I'm going to watch it, even though I don't
Did you
like
see
this
his
guy.
brother? Did you see his brother in the crowd? You had the Eagle. Eagle was in the crowd.
Yeah, he was in. Yeah, he
He
was in
was
a
in a,
crowd. He
he
was
was
on.
in a
Yeah.
skit too. His brother was in a skit. So I
All
mean,
right, all right. Let
cool.
me talk. I know you're trying to be a little more. All right, but just let me finish what I'm doing here. All right. Yeah, I saw him, and I was really really surprised at how he won me over, because I'm not crazy about the dude, or wasn't crazy about him, but now with him doing this, and I was surprised, like, wow, I guess I really do like this guy, even though he just beat us too in the Super Bowl. I can't dislike him. He's likable, so I like that, and I thought he did a good job in the skits that he was in. And I thought the skits were a little bit funny, like a little bit, like, actually there weren't any really horrendous skits. Like usually every week, Sean, with this show, with this new, there's usually one or two that are just like, oh my God, they're cringeworthy. They're so goddamn dumb that it's not even, I don't know why how it got past their checks and everything. But every skit on this show was pretty funny. He did a good job, and my takeaway was, wow, I actually like him more than I did from before. It's like, I don't dislike him as much, and I actually kind of like the cat. But go ahead.
Yeah, I thought his monologue was very good. The monologue might have been the best thing. Like all the skits were great, but his monologue was very endearing.
Yeah,
He talked about like he had a funny line. He's like, if you smoke weed, and you do this, or you drop out
and
of
you do
school,
bad at school. Yeah,
you could do bad at school and smoke weed. You could win the Super Bowl. I thought that was pretty self-deprecating and funny.
yeah.
Um, I thought they did a good job preparing him for the monologue. He didn't look too nervous. It was good. They showed his brother with an angry face and his brother laughing at the very end when he made fun of himself, kind of. That was pretty funny how they did the camera work with that.
Yeah.
I thought honestly the skits that I liked the best. I liked the mama's funeral one. That one was funny. That one was funny. The straight friend skit. The straight friend skit was so funny. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that was
The
I
straight
don't.
friend skit was like hilarious. Like he was because Travis Kelce plays the straight friend. I thought the part where he's like he tells the guy his friend like his dad died, and he's like
Yeah.
sad. And then his dad only died 2 weeks ago. He's like, oh, sorry, bringing that up, and my dad died. And then he's like, at the very end of the skit, he's like, man, sorry for being a pussy and talking about my dad dying. Like that was so.
Yeah, that was a funny line, but that whole concept, you with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you, man.
Okay.
I thought it was good.
It got awful,
Um,
awful. Yeah, the whole skit though is just a little. I don't know. I don't have anything to relate any of that to, so it's just kind of weird. But it was fun. I took the funny lines as they came here and there, but
well, did you see
the whole concept was
during,
kind of strange. But go ahead.
during the mama's funeral one? During the mama's funeral one, he spent all the family's money. That was supposed to be like the family's money on the funeral, and it was it was pretty funny. It was like
The
Weekend
mama's
at Bernie's
funeral.
with an old lady.
I can't remember the mama's funeral one, although I remember something about it.
Oh,
Tell me,
dude,
how
I'm
did it
telling you.
start? Mama's
He
funeral.
he's kind of got like a man bun. He's got a black suit on. He's standing there at the funeral, talking, and he says that he was the mother's lover, and the family's like, "Who is this guy?"
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember something about that. Oh yeah,
But you
yeah.
might have dozed off or switched
Who
real
is
quick.
this guy? Who is this guy? Yeah, no, no, no. I remember them saying who is this guy and that kind of a thing. And okay, it was an African American family.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, yeah,
Travis
yeah,
Kelsey's white, and he was way
yeah,
younger than the lady who died.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Thought that was well done.
It was all right.
Abby, the ex-girlfriend, was pretty funny. He's like, we went on one date, and she's like freaking out, and she has like they have the water coming out of her eyes. It looks like there's tears.
Yeah, I like that skit. That was
Um,
a good one.
and then his brother was in at the end. His brother turns out to be like her her boyfriend.
Yeah.
I thought it was good, man. I mean, and the self-defense one where he's playing like a self-defense person, like he just punches the guys in the face.
I thought that was funny too. It was like hit me. It was like your typical, what you weren't expecting that. You were expecting the typical, like the taekwondo instructor showing him how to and he says, hit me right here or something like that, and he just boom slugs him. That was
Yeah.
funny. That
What
was
do you think
funny.
about the weekend update? Anything stand out to you on that?
Weekend update. No, I don't think anything. It's always
Did you like the Dilbert thing? The Dilbert guy was in Dilbert costume.
Dilbert costume. I
Yeah, I feel like you were
remember a
sleeping during this, man.
No, I was not, but I just can't remember a Dilbert costume. I don't know who the hell Dilbert is. I remember a girl in like a tie-dye shirt. The girl came out in a tie-dye shirt reading her version of the news. I remember
Yeah, I
that.
don't like that Sarah's news thing. I don't get it. I mean, it's supposed to be like funny and like edgy and stuff, and she's supposed to be like accusatory and like very like aggressive and like just says inappropriate.
I think I always I don't roll on the floor, but I find it kind of humorous every time that most of the time that she comes out. There's some neat things to say. I think what she does is she creates her own headlines based on she'll take something that's tiny and she'll expand it and exaggerate and make a headline out of it. Much like it's done in some circles. So that's the funny part of it. So I like that. I always like the newscast there. I always like that weekend update. That's always funny.
What did you think about the music?
To be honest with you, the irony was that her name was Kelsey. I don't know what her last name was. I thought she was very adorable looking because she reminds me of that country singer, that other girl I like called Morris, some kind of Morris.
Oh, yeah, Maren Morris.
Maren Morris. Oh, I think she's just the cutest thing. And this one looked like it could have been her little cousin because it looked just like her. But as far as the music, ugh, nah. I mean, I didn't dislike it terribly, but it was just like,
Yeah,
I just didn't dig it. Didn't hate it, didn't dig it though. It was
yeah.
just there, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
So I thought SNL was very good. Enjoyed it a lot. I'm trying to think who next week is.
Is there a show next week? I just know
Yeah, there's a show.
that I noticed they've been staggering. They
They took
make
like
it
3 weeks. They took like 3 weeks off, but hold
okay.
on. It took about 3 weeks off, but I think the season goes until I think May. I think till close to Memorial Day. Oh, so next episode is Jenna Ortega. She's on a Netflix show called Wednesday. Everyone knows her from that, basically. Musical guest. I actually like the musical guest. The night they're called the 1975. I like them. So yeah, that should be a good one.
I've heard of the 1975. I can't tell you that I'm that I don't know. I can't, but I've heard of that group, the 1975, because I thought to myself, yeah, I was around. But yeah, we'll see. I'll definitely watch it. Yeah, but I was pleasantly surprised at this that the skits were decent. He did a real good job. The monologue was pretty cool, and he's a kind of a likable guy. I know if I could get together with him and his brother, I'm sure we'd have a hell of a time. But that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
It's a good show.
absolutely, man.
Hmm.
But do you agree that you think Kelsey's got an acting, after he retires, you think this guy can go to Hollywood and, act?
He's got that in him. It seems like, and
Yeah.
he's it does. I think I can see him right along. Look, if The Rock did it and people like that, I mean, why couldn't he? Really.
Well, The Rock he was a sports entertainer, so he was already acting. It was all fake, wrestling.
It's a good
So,
point that he was
so
already acting. Yeah.
So like, he had a
Yeah.
head start kind of, but Kelsey has that natural ability to just transition. Cause like,
Well, yeah.
OJ Simpson would turn out to be like a psychotic killer, obviously. If he was so beloved and able to like be this famous actor, he was pretty successful in Hollywood for a little bit there. He was in like the Naked Gun movies and stuff. I mean, OJ had a couple big roles.
Yeah, and maybe The Rock was the wrong example, but there have been numerous people that have come before Kelsey to go from athletics into acting, and he seems like he fits that mold. That the transition for him will not be that difficult. And to do what he did, I mean, that's live stuff too, dude. I mean, that's really. I mean, acting is like, well, we're going to film this,
I
but
know.
that's live stuff. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I want to say we did Wallace Shawn last episode, and during the show, I was reading a Reddit thread because he had one of those Ask Me Anything, and Wallace Shawn was like answering questions from fans. I thought he said that he was currently filming My Dinner with Andre too, but I read it again. I was mistaken. He was actually making a joke that he was having My Dinner with Andre too in that current conversation that they're having, that online message board conversation on Reddit. So that's he was making a joke like this, because My Dinner with Andre is a
Okay.
full conversation at dinner. So I quickly read it during the show and got excited. I'm like, oh, they're making a second one, but it was just Wallace Shawn being facetious and funny. They're not making My Dinner with Andre too, at least to my knowledge. But it was,
Right.
just wanted to clarify that real quick. I saw a movie yesterday called Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. It's like some weird French thing next to it. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Jason Statham's in it. He's a big action star. Aubrey Plaza's in it. She's not really known for action, but I guess she's trying to carve her little niche out. Because Guy Ritchie tends to have funnier type action movies. Carrie Ells, he's more known for I think he's known for like The Princess Bride or something from the 80s. That's Wallace Shawn was in that too. But Hugh Grant was in it. Josh Hartnett. I honestly, it was one of those like spy special agent movies that it's like really confusing and you don't know what the heck's going on unless you're really locked in. And I was trying to stay locked in, but it was confusing me. I knew they had to do something, like the bad guys stole something, and then the special agents had to go in, like, to get this back from the bad guys. Hugh Grant played the bad guy. I thought the best part of the movie was Josh Hartnett. He played an actor, a real Hollywood actor called Danny Francisco, and they could have done a lot more with it because there's a lot of potential to like make that more than it was, because he was a really he was a Hollywood actor who was helping real special agents like infiltrate this like bad guy, and so he had to befriend Hugh Grant and like get close to him or whatever. So I thought that was cool, but in terms of the movie, I was like, I give the movie a 5.8, and 5.8 I think is fair from my perspective. I could see how other people could think it's higher. It's currently a 6.7 on IMDb, but it's just not my cup of tea. I mean, enjoyable to a certain extent, like the Danny Francisco and Hugh Grant angle was enjoyable. I thought the Statham really didn't do much. Statham's character was kind of bland. It was like, I don't know. They tried to build him up that he's like this really like diva, like spy, and needs all these things. And he needs to be like, he needs to be like, they really have to be on their hands and knees to appease him because he's such a good spy. And he's got all these quirks, but they didn't follow through on, how quirky he was. They described him being quirky, but then throughout the movie, like they didn't really do anything to match the description. So 5.8 for me. I don't know, not my favorite, but anyway, that's the movie I saw. As far as what's going on with me, I got a root canal last week, Joe. Did I tell you I got the root canal?
You were telling me you were going to go in for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about it last Monday's show. My tooth was killing me. And I was able to get I was able, because there's a big backup of root canal appointments. Sometimes these doctors, they couldn't get me until like July. I'm like, so I have to suffer with this pain until July. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I got super lucky. I got in with a good endodontist. They had a cancellation. I took off the whole day from work. The root canal took over 2 hours, and they're not even done yet. And she can't get me in again until the 28th. So I have the second part of the same root canal, not until the 28th. And then 2 weeks after that, I have to get a crown. And it's not cheap. Root canals are expensive, but thankfully I have dental insurance, so paid for a lot of it. Mm-hmm. The crown is another story. I got to figure out what I have to pay for the crown. But, I just have to brush my teeth. I brush my teeth usually every night, usually twice a day when I wake up and at night. But sometimes I'll eat food after I brush my teeth. Sometimes I'll have some snacks that, like, the middle of the night and stuff. I'll get up and, handful of cereal, some popcorn, whatever. I gotta stop doing that. You know what I mean? Because it's not fun. Getting a root canal is like painful and really tedious, and they numb the whole side of your mouth, and like then it's sore after that. It's been sore the past 2 or 3 days. Today it's not that bad, but I was taking Tylenol the 2 days after that to deal with the pain. Wow. So I don't recommend it, man. Have you never had a root canal, Joe?
I've had several.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I've had several, yeah. And the one good thing is, though, is that the nerve should be gone, but they should have taken it out by now. At least they've taken that out by now. And now it's a matter of.
I think whatever she did something, she was digging away. I was my mouth was all numb, and she was digging, and whatever they're doing, whatever she has to do. She needs more time to finish it. But
and the pain go ahead. But the pain you're feeling is.
I was on amoxicillin, so the amoxicillin was also getting rid of the infection. So the worst case scenario was I couldn't get a root canal appointment as soon as I wanted to. Then I finished taking the amoxicillin for 7 days. Then the pain subsides temporarily. But I was lucky to get in, and that, all is good now. It's just annoying. I have to go back, then I have to go after the crown. I just want it done with. I hate going to the dentist. But
and when's the last time before this you have had any teeth problems at all?
Let me think. Man, I think before law school, I think I haven't been to the dentist since like 2014.
Okay, so there it is. That's a pretty good run. 9 years.
What happened was I started smoking weed again, and then I get the munchies at night, and then I'm eating too much sugar. Like, when you smoke weed, you get super. I do it mainly for sleep, but I also enjoy it. I listen to music. I calm myself down enough to go to sleep, because I have trouble sleeping. I'm really hyper, and I got a lot of thoughts running through my mind all the time, constantly thinking. So, marijuana has been a godsend for sleep, but it does make you very hungry. And I really I can eat, I stopped eating candy about 2 months ago, but I guess, somehow it got in before that, because, the sugar that I'm consuming now is basically, I eat a lot of grapes. I'm eating a lot of green and red grapes, and clementine oranges to satisfy my sweet tooth. But yeah.
You're still talking about acid and stuff like that's going to sit up there. But, after a while, after a while, you stop losing teeth to decay. It's just the way the body works. So, in your run here, that's not too bad. I've had all kind of problem, back in the past with.
Did you have your wisdom teeth taken out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But, the root canal, the pain you were feeling was just the post-op pain of them in there probing and prodding. That's all you were feeling, but at least you weren't feeling the pain of the infection anymore, and the nerve should be gone, because that's what they do. The first half, they get in there and take that nerve out for you. Yeah. And then that's why they can reschedule so far down the line, because you should be cool. Look at whatever, if you get some therapy that helps you sleep and so forth, it's all fine. And food may enhance that, but you know what? You have a little discipline and say, well, yeah, I could easily go to the kitchen and grab this or that, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
I have like a studio type apartment where I live. So literally all the food in the kitchen is like right like near my bed, kind of. It's like, just getting up to go to the bathroom. Anyway, I digress. But speaking of food, buddy, what did you eat on Saturday? What was your cheat meal?
Hey man, I broke the streak. I broke the TB streak. I went to Five Guys and had one of the best burgers I've had in a long time, and a big bucket of fries. I'm telling you, tremendous. See, this is the only part where I'm really enthusiastic, is when I talk about food. I'm just No, who isn't enthusiastic about food? But no, I was, and I almost didn't do it. I almost said, Joey, just go get the Taco Bell because I was tired. It was cleaning day. I cleaned my place. And when I clean, it's just it's cleaning, house cleaning, and so forth. Especially if your bathroom involved in everything in one day. If you're not used to it, it gets you tired and everything. So I was tired. I was almost like, Joey, just go to Taco. I said, no, damn it. Stop it. Go. You haven't had a good burger in a long time. Go get it. So I had the Five Guys, and I had it right there. I didn't bring it up. I like to, when I can, I like to eat it right there. That's what was driving me crazy about COVID. It was like, damn it, I can't wait. For the longest time, I think I can't wait to just go order something and eat it right there. You know what I mean? So I had the burger and fries and a big soda and a couple cookies are brought with me. It was delightful. And I might mess around and get back there next week and start a little Five Guys thing for a while. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on.
I mean, you might mess around and go 5 weeks in a row for Five Guys.
Yeah. Is this a drinking game or something that I don't know about that you're playing games with me? Some kind of see how many times as he says mess around or digress. Go ahead.
That'd be funny, if the show actually takes off the ground and we got you got loyal fans who start making drinking games. I mean, I'd be so honored and flattered about that,
Yeah. Oh, they'd make some money off digress, that's for sure. But I'm off the topic. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something different right now. I'm gonna bring up the Bryan. There's not a lot of Alex Murdaugh cases open, shut, close. That guy's got 2 consecutive life sentences.
Hasta la vista, jerk off.
Quick Kohberger update. Just I want to kind of weave it into the opening here.
Yep.
There's not a lot of updates, but there's the daughter of someone called the BTK serial killer. They said the people are feeding Kohberger's ego, because I told you a couple episodes ago, there's women writing him love letters and giving him a lot of attention. This guy's a killer, right? Or a potential killer, but we all know that he probably is. The daughter of the BTK killer said no woman should be sending this guy love letters. They're playing into his hands. They should not be celebrated or worshipped. People are only feeding the killer's egos. The BTK killer was apparently BTK stands for blind, torture, and kill.
Oh my God.
His name is Dennis Rader, Rader. I never really heard of the guy, but
blind anyway. as in the verb to blind somebody with a cloth or something. You're not blind it's not an adjective, it's a verb, right? Blind, I'm going to blind, torture, and kill.
Oh no, bind. I read it.
Oh, I thought you said blind with an L. Okay, blind. Then it definitely is. Okay, then it definitely is. Okay.
But she's saying that she said a lot of women worship her father, and it's called hybristophilia. It's a weird word to say. Defined as sexual interest in and attraction of those who commit crimes. She said her dad's a dangerous, sexual, sadistic psychopath, a pathological liar, and narcissist. People need to remember that when communicating with people like him. It's true. I mean, nobody should be writing love letters to killers. And what is going on?
I told you before. I just think it's certain women that fear rejection, and they figure, hell, I'll go in here to this joker. He's not going to reject me, for God's sake. That's why I think a lot of it has to do with that.
Yeah, but some of these women who written letters, I've seen it. They're not I'm not saying they have to be attractive, but a lot of them are attractive. I'm like, whoa. I'm a single guy. I'm 36 years old. And I'm not well known or famous, obviously, but it's what's going on? These attractive women can't do better than writing a killer. And it's bizarre.
Okay. Cause I've seen this happen. I've seen those, but I've never seen any real attractive women with these doing. I've seen, and I'm not being funny with you, but I've seen certain stories where they tell, because this has been going on a long time, but usually it's women who are very very moderately to unattractive that I have seen. I have yet to see any real attractive women. But if you have seen something recently, if you've seen real attractive women,
I'm going off my memory here, but I'm telling you, man, some of these women who fall in love with these criminals in jail, it's they're not that bad. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, you know what, too? this. I've worked in mental health. I told you that. I've said this many a time on here. I've worked in mental health for a couple decades. The human mind is a very, very fascinating thing and an unpredictable thing. And just as some people have sexual fetishes of God knows what, you know what I mean? It could be something like that. It could, you know, and just kind of a weird ass fetish. It could also be, as I said a couple moments ago, sometimes it's a certainty for these women who fear rejection, that they go in there and feel, I don't have to worry about rejection. He's not going to reject me, for God's sake. He's in an 8x10 cell, you know? So I don't know. And maybe in some small circles, maybe these women feel like they can help, you know, turn this guy around, you know, redeem, you know, I don't know, but it is a strange one, Sean. It's a strange one. I don't know.
Absolutely. So just going to give you a quick preview. During the sports segment today, Joe and I are going to quickly talk about some of the franchise. The NFL teams are starting to franchise tag certain players through a long-term deal. So during the sports portion, at the end of the show, we're going to talk about some of the franchise tags, as well as some little NBA. So this, you know, that's coming up during sports. Let everyone know.
Yeah.
Right. I'll quickly talk about The Last of Us. Is a really popular show. I think The Last of Us is like the most popular show right now. It's an HBO show. It's based on a video game. Pedro Pascal's in it, the guy from Mandalorian. I hadn't liked the last couple episodes. I thought they were like kind of boring. This last episode was actually pretty good. Anything that involves a cult leader, like basically the last episode involves some cult leader. You know, it's kind of like an apocalyptic world that people just have like their own communities, and people start like, you know, some are nice, some are really mean, some are evil. It brings the worst and best out of people. But this guy's a cult leader. So I'm not going to give anything away, but this episode involves that. I thought it was pretty good. So just want to talk about that real quick, that I saw that. Yeah. So moving on to our actor. Today's actor, Joe, is Penn Badgley. He's one of my favorite actors. My friends say I have a man crush on him.
Huh.
It's like, yeah, I got a man, you know, you get man crushes. You know, so he's just a great actor, but he's not like super well known. He's basically only well known because he was in Gossip Girl. That's where I really saw him, was at the show Gossip Girl. I binged Gossip Girl. I'm way behind. It was on years ago, but I just, like 2 years ago, I binged the whole, you know, all the seasons, and I loved it. I never
saw a minute of it.
Blake, yeah, well, it's not really in your wheelhouse. You know,
it's not.
You're an older guy, and you know, it could be, maybe you watch because there's some like, you know, young attractive girls on that show, but like Blake Lively's in that.
I saw he went out with Blake Lively. I did see, and I thought, my dude, good job, good work, brother.
Yeah, but no, I mean, so he's really known from Gossip Girl and the show that's currently airing on Netflix. It's a great show called You. But I wanted to give him a spotlight, give him some attention, because I mean, my friends say that my man crush on the guy, because I'm like, oh man, everything this guy's in, he was great in Gossip Girl, he's great in You, and like, you know, he seems like a cool guy too. He's born in 1986. He grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and Seattle. His dad worked as a newspaper reporter and carpenter. Joe, your dad was a carpenter, right?
Carpenter, cabinet maker, yes.
Yep. So basically, when he was younger, when he was like 9 years old, he did some radio voiceovers for a children's radio station, then some theater, and he discovered a passion for acting. Then he went to Hollywood. I think he went to Hollywood when he was like 14 years old. He completely skipped high school. He took a proficiency exam, and then he attended Santa Monica College and Lewis and Clark College in Portland at some point. But he hired an agent when he went to Hollywood. I guess he hired an agent pretty quickly when he followed his dream. He went all the way to Hollywood and just hired an agent. He's like, I'm just doing what I want to do. His big break came when he guest starred in Will and Grace in 1998. That was a popular show in the 90s. He said his parents named him after the tennis ball brand Penn, you know, like the Penn tennis balls.
Right.
Because when he was in his mom's stomach, she was bouncing tennis ball and said he's the size of a tennis ball. So that's kind of an interesting story about how because like he was on Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers or one of those shows. I was watching YouTube interviews of him, and he was just giving these little insights. So that was pretty funny. People really first noticed him He was in a soap opera. I think he had a recurring role on The Young and Restless around year 2000. So I guess when he was around 15, he was nominated for Young Artist Award for Best Performance in a Daytime Series. So he had some success. Young, I never consider him a childhood actor because I knew him from Gossip Girl. Like he was like in his 20s when he was in Gossip Girl. And he played a character called Dan Humphrey. He was kind of a fish out of the water in like this rich prep New York City school around these rich people, and he didn't have as much money as everyone else. And I really loved that show. It was just very like, you know, that Gossip Girl is an awesome show, Joe. I mean, that's all I'll say. It was good. He thought once he was done with Gossip Girl, he was nervous. He thought he was going to be typecast and just known for the role in Gossip Girl. So he was like, what am I going to do with my career now? He talks about being in film. He said in film, you need time to get things right, not always money, but it's weird because money equals time in film. It costs a lot of money to be on set every day and to pay everyone for each day. But he said it's all about time in film. What can you do with the time? He's kind of like he's a musician, like on the side as a hobby. He wanted to turn it into a career. He thinks playing music in a live room for an audience is better than recording films. He thinks it's a lot better being a musician for live audiences than it is being in recorded films. He said his music career didn't really work out. Again, it was a time and money issue. It comes back to time and money, I guess. He was talking about You. He said they filmed the whole season without doing a pilot first, which is kind of rare with shows. It was on Lifetime originally. The ratings were really bad, and then they greenlit the second season, then rescinded it. But then obviously Netflix picked it up, and it became a smash hit on Netflix. So the show is awesome, Joe. I highly recommend the show. You, man, I'm telling you, you'll like it. I'm pretty sure.
What is it? What is it called again? What is it?
You.
Oh, okay. Because I highly doubt I'm going to I highly doubt I'm going to watch that first one you were talking about. But this one. Yeah, the teenage drama, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see that. But this one, I can almost mark it down. I've seen him now that you're mentioning him. Now that you mention him and this show where he plays a cat that's pretty twisted and so forth. Yeah. I've seen him on some like late night talk shows and so forth. And I want to see that. Now, I don't want to see it so bad that I'm going to run out and get Netflix. But the way these shows work, it's just a matter of time before I can get it on one of my, Amazon Prime or Apple or something like that. It's just a matter of time. So when it does come out, I'm going to at least check it out, but it looks that looks good. That looks, like a show that would interest me.
Absolutely. Yeah, so he actually directed an episode of You this season too. He said the show You and Gossip Girl, they don't make as much sense if they're not as popular because they break the fourth wall in our cultural conversation. So that's a very interesting insight. I like that. He's like, if they weren't as popular, it just wouldn't make as much sense to people because they're cultural conversations. It's a fourth wall. So I thought that was cool. He said,
man. Any man that can date Blake Lively, it's like, you know what, cuz good work, cuz. I mean, come on now. I saw that. I was like, my dog, way to be, man. All right. But that's, that's that. And the You Project, I'd like to see that. But, this fella's pretty young, Sean. So, I mean, we'll have to give him time too, so yeah. He hasn't been around that long.
Exactly. I wanted because he's still got a lot of career left, but I wanted to highlight him and focus on him. I'm like, this guy deserves attention and credit. He's the man of the moment in terms of Netflix shows. I mean, Outer Banks is out too. It's another great Netflix show, but everybody loves You, and part 2 is coming out, I think, this week.
He's no Wallace Shawn, my dude. He's no Ed Harris or anything like that, but he's all right. He's all right.
Because, most of his job in the show You is voiceovers. Because if you watch the show You, it's a lot of him talking and describing his thoughts and what he's thinking.
His internal dialogue.
So that's what I understood. Yeah. The camera is just filming him, and it's very technical acting. He's kind of grown to like it. It's a whole different because he's got to be because they're filming what he's doing in like a scene, but he's not talking in a lot of scenes. It's like a voiceover.
Yes.
So it's a highly technical dance with the crew. He says because him and the crew have to be really locked in together. Just in terms of my top 5. So he was in number one is probably I'm gonna go with Gossip Girl. I was between You and Gossip Girl. So these are TV shows, the top 2 for me. Gossip Girl number 1, You number 2. I would say Stepfather number 3. Stepfather is a horror movie remake. It's about a lady who marries a guy. She's got kids, and this guy becomes the stepfather, and the stepfather turns out to be a crazy killer. He plays the son and the stepfather. So that was good. He was also in John Tucker Must Die in 2006. He was in Easy A in 2010. So those are my top 5. Gossip Girl 1, U2, Stepfather 3, John Tucker Must Die 4, Easy A 5, and Easy A, he actually plays Emma Stone's love interest. That's from 2010, so that was good. But I know, Joe, you haven't seen it. He hasn't been in a ton of stuff that you've seen, so it's not fair to me to sit here and ask you a ton of questions about him. But you do recognize some qualities about the guy. He dated Blake Lively. You looks like a good show. I guess you trust my judgment, but no,
I trust your judgment.
Yep. The guy's talented, and I think he's got a long career ahead of him.
Yep. And I've seen him on some late night shows. He's been on, and he's been talking about that, like this, this is different, that the internal dialogue of this new project that he's doing, this you thing. And although watching stuff like that is slightly upsetting, you always remind yourself, dude, it's just a show. It's just a show, but it's interesting to see that. But this is unique in that it's internal dialogue that he's, it's like you're sitting inside his head, listening to them talking to himself. So, because I saw a clip on one of these late night shows too. It was like a 30-second clip. So, yeah, good work. Good work, Sean.
All right, so let's move on to our Snapple Fact. Shout out to Penn Badgley. All right, so move on to our Snapple Fact. Snapple Fact number 223. The Basenji is a dog that yodels instead of barking. What do you think about that, Joe? There's a dog that yodels instead of barking. It's called a Basenji. It weighs about 22 to 24 pounds. It's about 16 to 17 inches. Life expectancy is about 13 to 14 years. It's a breed of a hunting dog. It was bred from stock that originated in Central Africa. The reason it yodels is because it produces an unusual yodel-like sound due to its unusually shaped larynx. And it gives them the nickname the barkless dog. So a yodeling dog.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'd like to hear the actual yodel, but I love dogs. I love dogs no matter what they sound like or almost, what they look like or whatever. Even the rattiest looking dog, I just love them. They're great. But that's interesting. I did not know that. Did not know that. Yep.
Are you ready to be stumped on the reel?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Story number 1. Man walks 300 miles after car breaks down in middle of desert and is bitten by snake. Story number 2. Scientists discover eating candy in moderation is healthier than eating 5 eggs per day. Story number 3. Family raises 250-pound dog for 2 years, then realizes it's a bear.
Wow. Wow.
Radio silence. Joe is thinking.
Yeah, okay. And because I'm tired tonight, I'm not going to take 16 weeks to mull all these over. The first one, the guy walked too far, 300 miles. I'm not buying it. Not in the desert. Done. The second one and the third one are feasible. Candy in moderation as opposed to eating eggs if you're really sensitive to cholesterol. Now, the family, if you get the family that's out in one of these real, rural areas and they have, question is, where did they get that puppy? What they thought was a puppy. 250-pound dog. I think they would notice it was a bear and not a dog sooner than later. I can't dismiss this idea that, and I'm just going to go with, could you repeat the verbiage about that middle one to get the candy again? Could you repeat them?
Scientists discover eating candy in moderation is healthier than eating 5 eggs per day.
Healthier than eating 5 eggs per day. Who the hell said eating 5 eggs per day is healthy?
Well, Well, it's got a lot of protein. If you depends on what else you eat. If it's just
Yeah,
egg
because
white.
eggs could be eating 5 eggs a day could be
I don't
perceived
know.
as
Yeah.
um well, and you know what? I just think the guy walked 300 miles in the desert is that's 300. If it were 30, I'd say maybe, So that's out. The family say that other the bear and dog one again. Say the headline again.
Are you searching Google for the headlines? What are you doing?
Oh no, I'd like to put a
Family
little thought.
family raises 250-pound dog for 2 years, then realizes it's a bear.
Okay, I didn't get the 2 years part. See, the 2 years part, if it's a bear, that thing's going to, well, it's a 250-pound dog. But where did they get this puppy? Did the 250-pound dog, quote unquote, just show up on their property one day? They had to have it from the time it was a puppy. I don't know. I'm going to say the middle one makes sense. That's it. The eggs and candy.
Okay. Well, sir, I got you. I stumped you.
Good.
The dog was real.
The one about the dog was, see, and I was almost there. I was almost there. That's good work, Sean.
I was going to change the 300 miles one. I stumped you anyway, but I was going to change 300 miles to what you said. I was going to do about 100 miles. If 100 miles, would I have stumped you too? I stumped you regardless, but
Oh, I'm not telling you anything now.
okay. You did say 30. You said 30. That would make more sense. But anyway.
Yeah,
All
but
right. So yeah. So the
I
story
almost went there though. Just understand that I was
yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
A
But
family, basically the family, it's from the New York Post. The family in a remote part of China adopted what they thought was a puppy. They discovered 2 years later that it was actually a bear. It's a village, some village in China. They thought it was a Tibetan Mastiff puppy. They're on vacation in 2016. Tibetan Mastiffs are huge dogs with thick black and brown coats. They can weigh up to 150 pounds. They said they were immediately struck that the pooch had an insatiable appetite, wolfed down a box of fruits and 2 buckets of noodles daily. The dog, the bear, I guess, the bear was tipping the scales at 250 pounds and getting even bigger. And the woman noticed the bear walked on 2 legs. So she thought, well, why is the dog walking on 2 legs?
oh, we'll see that right there. If I'd have known that, if I'd have known the 2 leg thing, that's a slam dunk. But I was right there, and you know what? You got me. Doggone it. It's about time.
Yeah, they
But
quickly she reached out to authorities and they classified it as a Asiatic black bear. They're classified as a vulnerable species. It was first reported in 2018, but went viral, I guess, last week. Wow, they're also known as Himalayan bears or moon bears. They can weigh up to 400 pounds.
mhm,
Had to be tranquilized before you can cart it off. So thankfully, it didn't hurt anybody.
yes.
If I was a family, I would just kept the bear. It's like, why keep the bear? You know what I mean? It didn't hurt you yet, you know? I don't
Wow.
know. I'm just joking, kind of, but it's it's
It's
probably the
like
bear.
that.
It's probably domesticated. It probably got used to the family, and like now that hopefully they don't shoot the damn thing. You know what I
Well,
mean?
no, I think they'll take it out to the wilderness. What they probably will do. Although,
But it's China though. You don't know what they're gonna do.
yeah, you don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, they are kind of. I mean, I've seen footage of anyway. I don't know. But what I do know is that bear was going to keep growing. So at some point you got to think about it. And just like your friend in Pennsylvania with the alligator, it all goes well until it doesn't. That joker has a brain that's about, the size of a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden he decides to go left. You got problems.
Yeah,
So it all goes well until it doesn't. So that's probably why they got rid of them. So
yeah.
they did the responsible thing. All right, what's next on your agenda, my friend?
All right, so we got a current event. So the New York Times. It's called "You're Now a Manager. Forget about overtime pay." Basically, there's a disturbing trend that's going on in the workplace. Many employers are mislabeling rank and file workers as managers to avoid paying them overtime. Um, they're calling people managers, and there's a loophole there because the companies do not need to pay overtime to salaried employees who make above the amount if they are bona fide managers. It's really bizarre. I mean, they mislabel workers to deny them overtime to save the company money. They come up with weird titles, like food cart manager, lead reservationist. It costs the workers about $4 billion per year, or more than 3,000 per mislabeled employee. So it's there's a lady who worked at Panera Bread named Tiffany. She began her day at 5 a.m. And ran often until late in the afternoon. She worked about 50 hours a week. She did not receive any overtime pay. Because Panera hired her as a manager, paid her an annual salary and on an hourly basis. This happens a lot. They hire you as a salary and call you some manager, and then you're working like crazy hours, and you break down what you're making, and you're only making sometimes like minimum wage. You're like, wait, I have like a high salary job, and then some people are working like 70-hour weeks or something crazy, 50 to 70-hour weeks, because federal law requires employees to pay time and a half, anything over 40 hours. And also most salaried workers, if a salary worker is below like 35,000 a year, they have required to pay them overtime. It really is disturbing. I mean, the federal data shows the trend. It says the number of managers increased in the labor force by about 25% from 2010 to 2019, but the overall number of workers grew roughly half that percentage. So there's more manager positions popping up. So you might be impressive. Oh, I'm a manager. I have a good salary. And then you realize the hours you're working, you're not making proper money. You'd be better off having an hourly job where you're getting the overtime. As soon as you hit 40 hours, you're getting time and a half. It really is. There's a lady who worked at Dunkin' Donuts. She had a salary of about 40,000 a year as a manager there. She had worked 70 more hours a week in a typical week. She spent 90% of her time on dealing with customers, serving them, cleaning. And she couldn't delegate the work because they're always short on staff. And she's supposed to be a manager. She's working 70 hours a week at Dunkin' Donuts, only making $40,000 a year. I mean, there's something seriously wrong about it. Just in terms of what the administrations are doing. The Trump administration adopted a current cutoff of about 35,000. The Biden administration, they want to raise the cutoff substantially. So at least that's a good thing. They're going to raise that cutoff because they could, they have to pay you overtime if you're making under 35,500 a year now. But hopefully the Biden administration, they change that. Hopefully they increase that to at least 45,000 at least. Because it really is it's a crime that these people are, they have good jobs, or they're a manager, they have a lot of responsibility. And what a lot of people do is they try to entice them. They're like, oh, the manager position, there's a lot of upward mobility. As opposed to the hourly position. So yeah, you might be sacrificing, you might be making less per hour, but you're going to be, there's upward mobility. So I don't know, man. What do you think about this?
I think it goes back to when you're 21 years old and you start to get experience with this. I was in clothing retail years and years and years ago. And I became familiar with how they start to do this thing here too. They give you a title, and it's, you think to yourself, wow, I'm working 48 hours a week here. I'm not working 40 and this kind of thing. It's never anything to this kind of magnitude that you're talking about. But at an early age, if you're living and breathing and you're working in this world, you're going to come across this. And basically, if you're on salary, always stop and think how many hours a week you're working. That's all. It really isn't as big as complex and as I'm a salary, you're giving me this much a week. Okay, then you take your however much you're making a week and you multiply it by 52. That's what you're grossing per year, right? And also speak the salary language. You're saying, okay, I'm making this much per week. What's a week? And you're figuring yourself, am I working 40 hours? So what's my schedule every week? And when they tell you your schedule and it looks like you're working 60 hours a week, you say, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm going to check something else out. I'll get back to you. That's kind of thing. So, I mean, it's just a matter of semantics. It's a matter of paying attention. That's all that is, and it's been around. Those kind of tricks have been around forever. And you just have to pay attention and, hope that you're not desperate enough that you have to take whatever this or that. And also you have to think to yourself, not only sometimes that may work out, because sometimes you're thinking, okay, I'm on salary, I'm getting this much per week. And yeah, wow, I'm working 51 hours a week. But then you stop and ask yourself, How much of this is downtime? How much of my week is downtime? How much am I physically, what do I have to do? And what am I doing when I am working? Am I killing myself? Am I breaking my back? Or is it? So these are all things that you have to take into consideration, but there's some salient points that you bring up. And I'm glad you brought them up because people should, before taking a position, factor all those things in. You can't just look at one or two things. So it's good work.
Yeah, it says in recent years it's become more difficult to root out because more employers they're requiring workers to sign contracts with mandatory arbitration clauses that preclude lawsuits. So they're protecting themselves. There's CYA, they call it, Joe, covering
Yeah,
your ass.
yeah, and that's been
Um,
around before
it
both of us.
doesn't
That
it
that
doesn't just
phrase.
happen in like McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts and stuff. It happens in like banking and white collar industry with technology and banking. So it really is an epidemic. Because these people 70 hours at Dunkin' Donuts and you're making
Yeah,
$40,000 a
wouldn't go
year.
near it. Wouldn't go. Yeah, yeah. I feel bad that people do have to do that, but they should think it through and think of all those things through. And actually, I wouldn't. I would suggest not signing anything like that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and
That's
also there's a
it's
quick little
ridiculous.
statistic here. From 2010 to 2018, manager titles in a large database of job postings were nearly 5 times as common to workers who were at the federal salary cutoff for mandatory overtime or just above. It's wild. There's a ton of manager openings. So when you see a job, it's like, oh, I'm going to interview for a manager. I might be a manager. Think about it, because I ran into this position. I was at Amazon, and I got a manager position offered to me, and it was like 4 days a week, 12-hour shifts, odd hours. You have to work through the night. And it was only a dollar more an hour. I was like, screw that. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things that the employers are getting away with murder, basically.
But Shawnee, I can remember back, God, 1984-ish. What the 19? What am I? Yeah, I'm actually 20 years old. 1984. But I'm a kid, 20 years old, and a buddy of mine was working, and it was a clothing retailer, and he says, Joe, you ought to check this out. It's not bad. You make money, you dress up in your nice clothes, and you're in a mall, and you meet you meet females, and you sell clothes, and it's not bad. It's really cool. You're not out in the elements. You're not killing yourself. You learn a lot about clothing, and in some senses, he was right. And it was fun for a while. I spent a few years in clothing retail because it was fun for a while and had a lot of positive things. But um, I'm 20 years old and I was there for about a month. And okay, you're going to be assistant manager now. Assistant manager? I haven't been here that long. What the hell are you talking? I don't even know. I'm still learning, what Argyle socks are and what a single Windsor is. And so what the hell are you talking about? Now you got me. I'm here a month. You got me an assistant manager. So I knew something was wrong just intuitively. Like what's going on here? And it turns around I don't even want to repeat what the salary was, but it was like, what? So, and this is retail too, so it was more than 40 hours a week. It was like 48 one week and 40 the other. One week they'd give you like you had
So
Saturday night and
they're
Sunday.
offering overtime for the manager position.
There was no overtime, nothing, right? Right. But it was your base salary was your base salary and a very meager commission. They could have done better with the commission, but none of us made. And even like the district man, it's retail, and it was retail in the 1980s, but the malls were bumping in the 1980s. Things were happening. Life was fun. I was younger and everything. Now, I didn't stay with that, obviously, but for a while it was cool. But it's anytime, that's how I was my first experience with this kind of like, wow, I'm the assistant manager. I think to myself, kid, you're 20 years old. You're an assistant manager. Then I think that the other year, I think to myself, how much are they paying you? Okay. It is what it is, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But you have to, and another trick they used to play was you're an independent contractor. You know what I mean? You're an independent contractor. You think, yeah, that's right. I am an independent contractor.
Yeah.
I don't have to listen to you. I'm an independent contractor. No, you have to listen to them, but guess what? They don't have to give you any benefits or anything like that, And at the end of the year, when you go to pay your income taxes, Oh, you're going to find out about that being an independent contractor too. But that's what, look, people have been doing this for as long as long as hell. You know, people who
Yeah.
employ other people try to get over. So just, watch yourself,
Yeah, it happens a lot in low wage industries too, like retail, dining, and janitorial. But like I said, it's relevant and prevalent. And I just laugh saying prevalent because on the Howard Stern show, this guy Sal Governale, he can't say prevalent, he says prevalent and stuff. It's like it's a big ongoing joke. He doesn't know how to pronounce prevalent. It became a big thing. Anyway, I digress on that. So it's really it's a horrible thing that happens. Like there's a guy who working at Jack in the Box. His salary was just over 30,000 based on hourly wage of $16 or something like that. But then his true salary wage was closer to half that amount. So he was basically making $8 an hour, well below minimum wage. I mean, and Jack in the Box didn't respond to comment on what the hell is going on there. So it's a predatory thing that's going on with employers. They're cash strapped. They're trying to cut the corners, pinch pennies, and they're giving people manager titles. It's good to brag about, but then they're not making money. So
I
it's
don't
like
know. And
it's
you know
really
what?
it's
Yeah,
bad.
it is, Sean. And it just goes to, it seems to me, look, it seems to me that what's happening with our country and with our capitalistic model and everything is that what's trying to be created here is two classes, like the haves and the have-nots, and the middle class is becoming a thing of the past. I mean, I was watching a comedian the other night talking about his grandfather said something to him like, well, how old are you? And he says, well, I'm 36 or 37 or 38 or whatever the hell it was some kind of 30. And he says, you married? No. You have any kids? No. You do this? No. And he says, when I was your age, I had blah, 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 like in a very condescending way.
Yeah,
He says, yeah, but
exactly.
Grandpop, you did that at my age. You did, but it was 1950 money. Try that now. It was 1950 money. He says, Grandpop, you worked as a bank teller and you were married, had a couple of kids, had a house, and your wife stayed
Exactly.
home. That's
Exactly, dude.
that's a whole different ballgame. Right now, you'd be living in a tent as a bank teller. You know what I mean? Or not? I'm exaggerating what he said. He said something or other like, but it's like it's profoundly different. I'm just wondering. I'm not old, but I'm starting to age, and as I look at things, I'm thinking, I don't know what's going to happen, but I really worry about what used to be the middle class in this country, because it used to be, Sean, that you didn't have to go to college to make a real decent living. If you did go to college, boy, you made a fantastic. But if you didn't go to college and you were just a good worker and had some sense, halfway, half a brain, you could do really, really, really well and have a wife,
Exactly.
a family, kids, vacation every year, a car, two cars, this kind of a thing, and send your kids to college and keep your wife at home. You could do all that on a very mundane job, but it's all being washed away.
Exactly, dude.
And
You're spot
that,
on because they're like, people, older generations like say, well, I had to work my way up. I had to do this. I had to, I raised a family, so and so died early and this and that. It's like, what do you do? It's like you have a college degree and I don't even have a college degree. I don't have as good a school as you. And look what I did. Look at the house I had. Look at the family. It's like, wait, hold on. We live in a different society. It's different generation. Way
yeah,
more, the population is way more higher. It's way more competitive. There's computers now. So, I mean, I could think about it the other way. There could be a lot more opportunities to succeed. But like you just said, if you just want to have a regular job where it's like, just go to work and just get, it's not that difficult. You have a certain skill you can do and perform. You can work your way up, like whatever you got to do. But these basic jobs these days they don't pay anything. You can't even afford an apartment.
no. And Sean, it used to be, I'm going back to like in the 1950s and even in the 60s, the 40s, 50s, 60s, and even a little bit into the 70s maybe. But a guy or girl could graduate high school and not even have any intention to go to college, and they can go to work for the Ford Motor Company, GM, or whatever, in a factory, or Campbell Soup, or something like anything like that. There were myriad companies who set up camp here, and they give you a job in a factory on the line, on a production line, right? And you knew you were going to make a certain amount. You were going to make
Exactly.
enough to have the
Yeah,
daggone,
like
like I said, the
like
house, the wife at home, the kids, the 2 vacations a year, and everything. You
yeah,
know,
exactly. Like and like these days, I mean, those type of jobs you can't, like I just said, you can't afford an apartment. I digress.
those kind of
Uh,
jobs you need to be
yeah,
half a CEO today.
I know. Yep. Yep. Inflation too. All this. We'll talk about this in the future. I like that with this topic really brought out a lot. I like that. We'll continue with this another show for sure. But let's move
Yeah,
on to sports, sir.
yeah.
Okay, so the Sixers had a big win tonight. Unfortunately, I'm really mad at James Harden right now. James Harden cost me about $130, dude. I made a bet. Not a large bet. I bet a bet like $20, money in my account, not losing any money. And I had a beautiful parlay. Everything hit in the parlay. Trae Young, 25 points. Damian Lillard, 3 threes, no problem. Joel Embiid, 25 points, no problem. Halliburton, 8 assists, no problem. Harden, 8 assists, no problem. Okay, Harden, 20 points. Couldn't do it. They scored 147 points, and James Harden couldn't score 20 points, dude. I know he had like 20 assists. I know they won the game, but really, this guy used to score over 30 with his eyes closed. I don't know, dude. I'm frustrated with it. That's a horrible beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a tough deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're happy the Sixers won, obviously, all right?
Yeah, I think they could have won by more against that team, but I'll take the win. You know, I'll take the
Yeah.
win.
But their opponent, the guy, their point guard they went against, Tyrese Halliburton, he's an all-star point guard. He had 16 assists. He was lockstep with James Harden against them. I actually spoke to him a couple of times. He was in the crypto group I was in when the crypto was booming. And he's a very nice, humble guy. We had a couple NBA players in our group who would like talk to us all the time. We started off on this NBA Top Shot platform, and we got them in our group, and they were just like us, buying and selling stuff. Even including the guy in the Knicks, Josh Hart. He wasn't in our group, but Josh Hart was big in the crypto. But anyway, Tyrese Halliburton was in our group, and he would talk to us. And one night he went on the stream and he opened up his pack. You get a pack. It's like a pack of cards, but digital. He opened up a pack of cards with us, and he was hanging out with us, talking to us. It was pretty cool. So shout out to Tyrese Halliburton. You having a great year, sir. So yeah, man, the Sixers are playing good. But you know what I saw today, Joe?
What?
There was NBA power rankings on CBS, and the New York Knicks were ranked number 1. I was in shock. We're finally getting the respect we deserve.
What?
The New York Knicks were ranked number 1 because they do something called power rankings. It doesn't have to be by standings or who's in first place. They ranked the New York Knicks number 1 today in the power rankings on CBS Sports, dude.
Well, I think the Knicks are much improved, and it looks like they're finally turning it around. But I don't know what that. I don't know what that. That's obviously. Well, I guess because they beat Boston, it's a big. It was.
We beat Boston
But
the last 3 times. We beat
yeah,
Boston last night without Jalen Brunson, dude. He's our best player.
yeah. I don't know. I'd be hesitant to call them number 1 right now. But I told you the
even
last show.
NBA.com has them tied for second. So it's Milwaukee number 1, Boston number 2, Cleveland number 2, New York number 2, all tied. And they have Philadelphia at number 5.
Philly at number 5, and they just went into Milwaukee and spanked their ass. I don't know. It's weird.
No, dude, that game versus Milwaukee, they didn't spank them, dude. They were lucky they won that, dude. It was a great win and everything, but they were down by like 15 points, and they had a miraculous comeback. They went on like a 19-2 run.
Yeah,
I didn't Milwaukee at all.
I respect the Knicks, and I think they're doing a good job in turning things around. But until they do a little more, I can't mention them in the same breath as the Bucks, the Celtics, and Sixers. I just can't do it.
You're putting the Sixers and the same Celtics as Bucks and Celtics, dude?
Absolutely. Why not?
I don't know, man. I mean, listen.
Would you read me the standings? Would you read me the standings?
Yeah, the Sixers. I mean, the Sixers are right there. I mean, I know.
Okay, well, they're right there. That's why I put them in the same breath. Yeah, I don't want you to get delusional and think that this little. I mean, it is good, and I think that the Knicks. I'm not going to give them a little credit here. They're turning things around. But I don't want you to get so delusional that you're already starting.
I'm really realistic,
so you found something. It's like when you write a paper, like in college, and you have some point you want to prove, NBA and you look feverishly, and you finally find one person that agrees with the point you want to make, so that you're going to cite them.
I got alerts on my phone. I got alerts on my phone. NBA.com power rankings. NBA.com power rankings and CBS power rankings. Those are 2 legitimate sources. I didn't have to search at all. It literally popped on my phone. It's like Knicks are new number 1. listen, I'm realistic about the Knicks. I think we're good. I think Knicks can mess around and like really get to the finals this year. I really do think that. And it looks like everyone else, the experts, because I'm no expert, I'm just a fan, right? I'm a guy who knows a lot about basketball, but I don't consider myself an expert. No one called me an expert. But experts using all this data are saying the Knicks are number 1 or number 2. So listen, it is what it is, man. Philadelphia is right there too. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what Harden does in the playoffs.
I'm telling you, and most people that watch the game and so forth and so on, although someone was able to manipulate some statistics and formulate that conclusion for right now, wait 10 minutes because it'll change, one of those kind of things. Let's get back to the stone cold ball, the basketball and reality. You got the Bucks, you got the Celtics, you got the 76ers. That's who you got. That's who you got in the East. Now, the New York team is definitely honorable mention.
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong part of the NBA.com. They had records of the East. So that was the Eastern Conference stuff. But let's see. Overall, they have the Bucks at number 1. That's a fair pick. The Nuggets at number 2. That's fair. The Celtics at number 3. It's fair. 4 Sixers.
And this is in the entire league.
Knicks are at 5 on this one. So NBA.com has Sixers at 4, Knicks at 5.
Okay, well, that makes a little. I can buy that, Sean. I mean, but do you realize that you just said to me, "quote You're putting the Sixers in the same breath as the Knicks"?
No, I said the Celtics and Bucks, not the Knicks, dude. I said Celtics and Bucks.
Oh, okay, that is right. You did some. My apologies. Yeah. I stand corrected. I got more orthopedic shoes here. That is but am I putting them in the same breath as them? No, I'm putting them just a little bit behind them. But let me ask you this. Can they beat either of those teams? Now, they haven't had a whole lot of success against Boston. However, how many times have you seen, and every game, most of the games they play against Boston are tough. How many times have you seen in a regular season confrontation, this team team A beats team B again and again and again and again, and then they face off in the playoffs, and guess what happens? And you see sports just as long as I have. I'm not going to go as far as to say that either of those teams are tremendously better than the Sixers, but I'll give them the nod right now. I'll give the Bucks and the Celtics the nod right now as being a little bit better, as I will give the Sixers the nod of being still a little bit better than the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are on the come, though. They are. I told you that last show. Don't take that as, utmost respect. I told you that. I told you that they could mess around and win the whole thing. I told you that last time. So.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we'll see what
happens.
I'm
not going to get nuts over here,
I'm very happy with what I see from the Knicks. The fact that that last night was a big test. Emmanuel Quickly, he's played at the same school. He played at Kentucky with Maxey, dude. Him and Maxey got drafted together. So I used to think that Maxey was better than Quickly. Now I'm not so sure after watching Quickly recently, dude. I think Quickly he's right there with Maxey, I think.
Yeah. Maybe. Anyway. Maxey's a hell of a basketball player.
Yeah.
But
did you see the franchise tags today in the NFL?
I saw your Cowboys. I saw they're going to franchise the running back.
I'm very happy, but the problem is they're guaranteeing him $10 million, fine. But we still have Zeke Elliott on the books. What are we going to do about Zeke?
Oh, I think they're going to dump him. I don't think he's much of a, I don't. I mean, now if he decides to recommit himself and to get in better shape and to work harder, and I don't know, but he's not the same back he was by far. He's just, I think he's 5 years in now. And running backs, usually the average lifespan of a running back is 4 years. So he's already over the average lifespan for the running back in the league. And he doesn't look like he has a whole lot left in the tank.
No,
so I think they're going to get rid of him. That's what I think.
Yeah, we'll see. Depending on how much money it costs us to get rid of Zeke. I don't know because next year Zeke Elliott has a $16.7 million cap hit next season.
Oh, he's definitely not worth that at all. He might be worth about one fifth of that, maybe.
Yeah, and then I saw it's interesting. I saw the Jaguars placed the franchise tag on Evan Ingram. 11.3 million guaranteed. He was the Giants tight end for a little bit. He was kind of disappointment. He came in the league with a lot of high expectations, but I don't know. Last season he had 73 catches, 766 yards, 4 touchdowns. So interesting franchise tag to franchise tag him, because I feel like you can get tight ends are not always easy to get, so maybe it makes sense. The Jags have some momentum. They have Doug Peterson, they got Trevor Lawrence, they got Travis Etienne, their running back. I mean, there's some good things going on in Jacksonville, but that was a surprise when I saw they used it on him.
Yeah.
I don't know if they probably could have figured out a way to sign him for a reasonable deal. They're paying him 11.3, but if they had no one else, then why not? And then the Commanders did Daron Payne. So that's Daron Payne. And then that's really all I saw so far. I saw that the Raiders are expected to tag Josh Jacobs. That's interesting.
Yeah, I wish my Eagles would put the tag on Chauncey C.J. Gardner, that the safety. He's one. Oh, is he so good? He's such a vital part of this defense too. But I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to franchise someone, but I don't know. I don't know who yet. But I wish it would. I hope it's him.
What do you think the Giants are going to do with Daniel Jones? I mean, they're not going to. He was demanding $45 million, which is blasphemy. It's so wrong. The man does not deserve $45 million per year. Franchise tag would pay him about $32 million. I don't know, man. I don't know. $32 million even sounds like a lot for Daniel Jones, but if you need a quarterback and you have to keep him, and the market is so absurd right now, because I'm waiting to see what Geno Smith gets, because Geno Smith. Apparently, the Seahawks are paying. They came to a deal, multi-year deal. So I want to see what Geno Smith gets, because I don't think Daniel Jones deserves more than Geno Smith.
Well, the whole thing here too is what those jackass Cleveland Browns did when they signed what's his name from the Texans. Oh, come on, the quarterback. You know what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, pardon me.
What would you say? What team?
The quarterback for the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
it escapes me once in a while. The name escapes me or whatever. When they signed Deshaun Watson to that ridiculous contract, they set a precedent. That's why everyone in the league, every GM in the league was irate at them for being such jackasses. But I think what's happening, and I think it's evident with what the Ravens are not doing. They're not just saying, because what they're saying is, I don't care what the Browns did with Deshaun Watson. We're not going there as a new reference point for quarterbacks. And I think that if every GM in the league says we're not going to do this, I hope they don't. So I think this guy has brass balls for the quarterback for the Ravens for hanging out so long and holding out so long. But his whole mindset is, well, if he got this, then I get $1 more than he gets because I'm better than him. And these guys are just ridiculous. I told you before how I feel about some of these guys. I mean, they already have life-changing money, and at this point, it's just ego. Dude, go to work, will you? So, and this quarterback for the Ravens, he's nowhere near as good as Deshaun Watson. Forget all the personal stuff. This kid in Baltimore, he's a hell of a runner, but he's nowhere near the quarterback that Deshaun Johnson is. So
it looks like, just to quickly add this, Geno Smith got 3 years, $105 million. So it's crazy, because like a couple of years ago, that would have been like a ton of money for a guy like Geno Smith, a guy who, he just had a good year, but he hasn't been proven. He's not a proven starter. He had like one good year. 3 years for $105 million. In terms of the quarterback market, I guess it's fair. So now Daniel Jones is probably going to get at least 30, the same, he's going to get
$35 million a year, right?
He'll probably get around, similar money, but I don't know. That's a lot of money for, it says a lot because I know Geno Smith made the Pro Bowl and he played good this year, but like, the fact that he somehow carved out a career where he's getting $100 million contract, it says that's wow. Because I remember when the Cowboys gave Tony Romo over $100 million before the market obviously changed vastly and drastically. I was like, wow, that's a lot of money for a quarterback. But now it's like second nature. It's like, $100 million, no big deal. It's a quarterback.
That's cheap. Unfortunately, That's just how crazy it's getting, Sean. And that's why someone has to do something at some point here. And I know the salary cap's going up and all that stuff, but this is ridiculous. Guys, how much money do you need? And when they turn around with this bullshit, I have to feed my family. What the hell are you feeding them? Gold covered oatmeal flakes? I mean, what the hell are you talking about? You got to feed your family. You already are a millionaire. You already are a millionaire. You're already a millionaire several times over. So
they're
don't
trying
start giving
to.
me the bullshit about you got to feed your family.
Yeah,
That's why you're holding out to get 280 million as opposed to 200 million, because I need that extra 80 million, man.
yeah.
Bullshit.
I mean, you can't think about putting yourself in their shoes though. Like they feel like the market is paying them that much money. They got to strike while the iron's hot. It's seize the day type of thing, and they're like, you know what?
No, if I
If
put
I'm
myself
the
in,
prime.
no. If I put myself in their shoes, Sean, not to interrupt you, but if I put myself in their shoes, I have to sit there and say, "Oh my God,
Yeah, but if someone's willing to
I've
pay you
got
that much,
I've got 100 million in the bank. I was playing in this league for 5 years, and for that 5 years, I've got over $100 million in the bank. I'll never have to work again a day in my life. My kids will never have to work again if they don't want to. I'm set up for generations. So whether they pay me $280 million next year or they pay me 180 million, what the hell am I worried about? That's what I would take. So I'm not buying any of that bullshit at all. I'm not having any of it. But that's just me. That's just me in my opinion. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we had this discussion on the show. I agree with you. It's getting a little ridiculous, but now I'm thinking, the owners can afford it. They're willing to pay them. Players got to get as much as they can, I guess. But I like the players like
Well,
Tom
that whole
Brady.
thing, the
I
players
like the
got to
players
get as
like
much
Tom
as they can.
Brady.
I don't know about that, but go
I
ahead.
like the players like Tom Brady who sacrifice for the team. They'll take a little pay cut, so the team can sign a lot of good players. That's what
Well, Matt Mahomes
Tom
did.
Brady did that
Mahomes
for
did that
years.
too.
Well, he took a
Mahomes
long
did.
term. He took like a 10-year contract, Mahomes, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the way they did it with him. They expanded, they extrapolated it out to like 10 years and so forth. But and Brady did that only because his wife made more than he did. So but still, he did. You know what I mean? Because he still could, with this mindset that you just described, he could have still said, "Yeah, but I'm the best quarterback of football, and if he makes more than me over there on that team, I should still make more than him because I'm better than he is." And that's what these guys are like little kids. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't buy any of that garbage about I have to feed my family bullshit and I got to get my bag and all that. I got your bag anyway. It makes me sick. It absolutely makes me sick. I got no problem with these guys are the best at what they do in the world, and they should be paid handsomely. And when these guys are already multimillionaires, don't bitch about hold out for a contract because of this and this, and because you're holding out. You're really pissed off. You're making 120 million a year, and you should be making 150. $30 million means something. Kiss my ass. I don't go for it. I'm not going for it. And that's one thing that I can't stand about these guys. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Your turn.
Absolutely. Man. All right, so that's a wrap up for the sports. Joe, what do you have to say, buddy?
Whiskey bottles and brand new cars. Oak Tree, you're in my way. Peace.
Take care.